name is Valeria Spartans up from the Astrological energy forecast. This will be for the week of June 16th to 22nd of 2025. Thank you for clicking onto my video. If you're a returning member, subscriber, or viewer, welcome back, Soul Family. It's good to see you guys again. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for all your likes, your shares, your comments, subscribe, super thanks, and donations. I truly appreciate them all. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. It's good to see a new face here. I do pull oracle cards to give you the overall energetic theme for the week. So please note that these are general oracle card readings, therefore the messages will not and may not resonate with everyone. So please take what resonates with you in your particular situation and leave the rest. Please don't try to make the story fit if it doesn't fit. Okay, if it's not resonating with you, it just means I'm not picking up on your energy, which is perfectly okay. In the areas of legal, law, finance, health, mental health, please know that I'm not an expert in those areas, nor do I claim to be, and if I mention them at all, it is either what my intuition is picking up on, or it's literally on the cards themselves. However, if it truly resonates with you, I highly encourage you to speak to those experts in those areas of expertise. I am also the author, the Oracle, both fairy tales in my hand here, The Princess and Her Inner Voice, which is fairy tale written for children about their intuition, what it is, how it speaks to them, and how if they listen to it, it can help them to overcome all obstacles, help them heal from all traumas, as well as get them to their happy ending in whichever way that looks for them. It is a very self-love and self-worth based fairy tale. As well as The Dark High Priestess and Prophecy Queen of the Unseen. This is a fairy tale written for adults about healing and overcoming spiritual warfare and narcissistic abuse through the perspective of a divine feminine who uncovers the fact that her own mother, her family, her friends, even her exes have tried to destiny swap with her, tried to end her life for financial gain. She goes through her spiritual journey to reclaim her power through the help of benevolent beings and the angels to get her to fulfill her soul purpose, which also consists of a divine union. Both of these fairy tales are written in the bard format, which means that they rhyme. So think like the content of Grimm's fairy tales in the format of Dr. Seuss. They are written and illustrated in such a way to heal and appeal to your inner child as you read them. They're short, they're sweet, they inspire hope, and they make you feel good as you read them. The audiobooks have been released for both books. We attach this video for your convenience. However, if you wish to purchase the physical copies, you can find them on online retailers, such as Amazon, Walmart, and Barnes & Noble, just to name a few. The Princess and Her Inner Voice is in its second edition print, which means that the autographed first edition as well as my products can be found on my website, which is www.aspiraltotheself.com. All the information will be in the description box below for your convenience, as well as all my social media platforms and pages, so that we do not get scammed by people or pages pretending to be me. As always, I begin each reading and forecast with a prayer. I call upon God, Bandra, Great Goddess Morgan the 23, Lu, the Archangels, my ancestors, and the seen and unseen. Please only allow in this reading and forecast what I call upon, which is high vibrational energy and frequency. If any low vibrational entities, beings, or energies try to come through or try to astral project, open a portal, remove, be monitoring spirit in the past, present, or in the future, I ask that you block, bind, and blind, and immediately return to sender 100-fold, in which I give you full consent to intervene and to intercede on my behalf whichever way you deem fit. Please allow me to see beyond the collective to know, write quick concise messages. If any try to abuse technology in any kind of way in the past, present, or in the future by trying to take a screenshot, astral project, open portal, remove, be monitoring spirit, into this set, I ask that you block, bind, and blind, and immediately return to sender 100-fold, which will give you full consent to hold them accountable and bring them to justice in your way. Please protect me, this channel, the video, and the viewers as I deliver this divinely guided message. Any curses, hex, evil eye, black magic, witchcraft, and bindings will be dissolved, transmuted, and interviewed by the All-High. The sinner's mask ripped off, they'll be unable to hide all their lies, deceit, and ill intentions will become exposed and publicly known. Alrighty, collective, so let's get into it. First, we begin with the background energies, which is the retrograde energies, which can last from a couple weeks to several months. Then we go into the weekly energy, which can last from 48 hours to several weeks. And then we get into the daily energy and the corresponding chakra. So let's get into it. So we have 3 retrogrades. We have 2 major asteroids that are retrogrades and 1 planet that is an astrograde. So we have Juno retrograde, which will be in retrograde until July 10th. This is where we're wanting deeper connections like that of a soulmate. So getting rid of the surface level ones that are based on like intimacy, sex, finances, stability, social status, whatever. We're wanting to be seen and heard on a deeper level. Then we have Pallas retrograde, which will be in retrograde until October 4th of 2025. This is where we're questioning established way of thinking, working in groups for humanitarian causes. We're starting to see that with protests. Keep in mind, say in the United States, we do have the right to protest. What we have seen in the past 12 years, though, both political parties, someone in the background has paid for paid protesters to go loot, vandalize, start a riot. So that way, once that protest gets labeled as a riot, the government can pretty much attack the protesters. So this has been happening for the past 12 years, where peaceful protests are all getting labeled as riots, which means that the government, the police, what have you, can attack the protesters. And in some states, depending upon where the protest is taking place at, they've created laws where they can seize the protesters' property if the protest is called a riot. They can put them in jail for a long period of time. Like, it's crazy. So keep in mind, because we do have a major protest that's going to be occurring on June 14th when it comes to President Trump's military thing that he's got going on. There's going to be protests all across the United States. These are peaceful protests. However, what you do need to keep in mind is that if you start hearing the term riot and things like that, know and think. Use your critical thinking skills and look deeper. It's not the left, it's not the right, that thinks they have the right to vandalize people's stuff or loot or whatever. These are typically and have been proven to be paid protesters. All it takes is 3 or 4 of them to do this, to get a peaceful protest named as a riot. Once it gets named as a riot, then they can declare martial law. That's when they can come in and start, shooting at the peaceful protesters. That's because the American people's right to peaceful protest is heavily under attack and has been heavily under attack for the past 12 years. There's literally documentaries and things on it, especially with the Hillary Clinton and Trump time period when it came for presidency, how they both would pay for people to be violent during their rallies, so that way they could spin the narrative that the person who supported that candidate was very violent and vice versa. So keep in mind, you just need to have that mentality here, because I've seen it myself with the global women's protests that happened years ago. That was a peaceful protest. There was literally children there. There's women, children, men that were there, and they had 3 or 4 people that were paid protesters that damaged property, and then they labeled that whole protest that was global as a riot, and it wasn't. You got to use your critical thinking skills here and see who is trying to undermine the American people, our Constitution, our rights. You have the right to protest. That's one of the peaceful ways that we can enact change, and it's been heavily under attack by our government and the people who pull the strings in our government. The big major families, the elite, the shadow state, if you will, that controls our government. They do not want us to have a peaceful protest, and they're trying to claim all of our peaceful protests as riots, so that way it discourages the American people from protesting and brainwashes the other American people to thinking, and agreeing with there being stricter laws on it. So just FYI. Then you have Pluto retrograde, which will be in retrograde until October 13th of 2025. This is where we're challenging the status quo, power dynamics, societal shifts, and purging old beliefs. Again, we're going through revolutionary changes. We have a Neptune and Aries, which is spiritual evolution. So everyone's going to be going through an evolution on the inside. But then you have Pluto in Aquarius, which is revolutionary across the board. Right now, astrologically, events are lining up to what they were during the French Revolution and a World War I and World War II. So think of the themes of what those wars were about. It's like the French Revolution is getting rid of a dictator, getting rid of the monarchs, and the people declaring their sovereignty, their rights over themselves. But it comes about through a lot of, again, protests. And then when the protests were under attack, they took harsher means. We're starting to see that as well with the meteor shower peak days, because meteor shower peak days are lucky. They've been predicting that there's going to be a dictator that arises to power that's going to lead to a lot of strikes. So with Pluto being in Aquarius for the next 19 years, there's going to be a big change. It's either a change for the good or it's going to be a change for the bad, and it depends on how the people themselves conduct themselves and what they do. Because look at World War I and World War II. Nobody wants that to happen again. At least nobody's sane, who's got a heart, has a soul, Nobody who's sane And higher consciousness wants to enslave people. Nobody wants to put them in internment camps. Nobody wants to mass red rum people, you know, for the sake of whatever, some kind of delusion, okay? You know, there being societal shifts, like we're seeing that in the United States. I can't speak for other countries, but I can speak for the United States. When it comes to there being a class shift where we've almost completely eliminated the middle class, it's the working class and upper class. The middle class is almost disintegrated. And you can see that with our economy. You can see it with the housing crisis that we have here. You know, it's getting to where even two incomes, where two partners, two incomes in a household can barely survive. And when people go into poverty, you start seeing violence. You start seeing change. Because nobody wants to live that way. It doesn't make sense why we're living that way when there's enough to go around. You know, and all of our resources and what can be obtained are hoarded by a select few. Typically that brings, again, like the French Revolution. Think about that. Like how the monarchs pretty much took everything from the poor to make it where they were starving. They didn't have anything. So it's like these very few people that get to live extravagantly while everyone else is suffering. It's going to make people violent. So when I tell you that the protests are just the beginning, there will be violence. There will be change where people are going to say enough is enough, and they're going to want their independence. They're going to want their freedom. They're going to want a better world, because it's like people are seeing the red flags. Many are scared to take action because, again, like say in the United States, all of our laws contradict each other. So it's like you have the right to a peaceful protest, but you got to worry about all this stuff. Then to say like you have the right to defend yourself, but you've got all this stuff. Like you've got all these exclusions here. And it's like you can easily go to jail, which we've seen, you know, you can go to jail just for speaking up against somebody. Like if the government wants you in jail, you're going to be in jail, you know. So just know that as a collective unit, as a world, we're going to be seeing a worldwide revolution where people have had enough with the people who want to play God in people's lives, because there is more than enough resources. There is enough to go around. And forcing us to essentially have that whole coal miner system where it's like you have one party that owns everything and they will rent it out to you for your labor. But no matter how much you work, you'll never get out of debt of that party. That's where we're at now. And astrologically, it's going to create a worldwide revolution. So just something to think about. It's not us versus, them. That's a tactic as old as time to divide and conquer. One of the major themes this week is that even though the world may seem like a harsh place and you want to close your heart off, you want to close your heart to humanity, this is a very important time that you need to keep your heart open. Okay, think of what happened with humanity, because history repeats itself. Think what happened in the 1900s. Think what happened in the 1700s, where, you have a time period where people suffer and then people overthrow it. It keeps repeating because we don't learn the lesson. We get comfortable, we get complacent, and then it happens again. So just something to think about. So weekly energies. So these are going to happen all throughout the week. So from June 16th to the 20th. There will be a big opportunity in 3 areas of your life to be authentically you, to make revolutionary changes, and being calculated and analytical to develop your natural talents through stress, like having some kind of tension applied to stimulate the activity for growth in your spiritual evolution. So you're developing your natural talents through stress, through tension. So it's like the universe is forcing you out of your comfort zone to have growth because it's part of your spiritual evolution. Spirit, what is this stress? Spirit, what is the stress that's going to propel the collective in their growth? Letting go of urgency out of fear to learn something. So this is getting out of the fear mentality, like pain teaches. So there could be something here that you have to deal with that puts you first in a state of fear, where you're going to need to surrender to the divine timing. You're going to need to let go of the urgency when it comes to learning something. And this is all going to be part of your growth. So whatever it is that you're going to be learning about, studying. Maybe even, because it says teacher, you could even be teaching the subject. So it's like you going through some kind of stressor in your life that propels you to learn something, but it's propelled by a state of fear. So you're propelled by some kind of state of fear because some kind of stressor in your life when it comes to being your natural self, revolutionizing your life, and being analytical and calculated. You're going to need to do that. And it involves you letting go of the urgency, surrendering to the divine, surrendering to the will of the universe that helps you to go through your spiritual evolution. Because when you go through your awakening, one of the biggest lessons that you learn and that you're tested with is to let go of urgency, to stop trying to micromanage the universe, surrendering to the divine and divine timing. It's like it's your ego that tells you that there's a time frame that you need to complete things by. Things will flow when they're meant to flow. It's all about energy and it's all about alignment. Also, being calculated and analytical as you take the practical action to undergo your spiritual evolution will assist with overcoming the obstacles of being curious and asking many questions to focus and develop a deeper connection within the home. And that's a big energy this week as well, as we have some major players that sign is in Cancer. Like we have Mercury in Cancer, which is about, deeper connection with the home, having those deeper conversations. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is about expansion, but it's also about, like intellectual expansion when it comes to your home. Again, developing those deeper connections. And that seems to be the answer this week for a lot of any issues that you have, that when the outside world seems to be too much, that you need to, one, go within, but then two, focus on the home. Focus on your immediate environment and developing deeper connections with the people that you have within your home. What kind of questions did the collective ask this week, Spirit? When it comes to the divine here, getting you to embrace the unknown, having the courage to go into the unknown is like that light at the end of the tunnel. You have to get to the dark to get to the light. So it's like you're getting angelic assistance here on having the courage to embrace the unknown. And you can do that by asking questions, the right questions with those that you care the most about that are around you within the home. Our consciousness and its capacity will be tested as we take the methodical and analytical actions as we experience growth, focusing on developing deeper connection with the home as well as a spiritual evolution that will revolutionize our lives. So again, that's a major theme for this week. Going through that spiritual evolution, again, that Neptune in Aries is the energy for the next 13 years. So that's going to be an ongoing thing. But with the current energy, it's focusing on the home, having deeper connections with the home. But again, your consciousness and its capacity is going to be tested because you're going to want to revolutionize your life. But you're going to have to take methodical actions. Be analytical on what it is that you do and how you can be and have those deeper connections with the home. Spirit, in what ways do you want the collective to be methodical and analytical with their actions when it comes to developing a deeper connection with the home? What do you want the collective to do? Again, it seems like you're getting a lot of angelic assistance this week when it comes to uncovering hidden motivations. So that's why you're being called to be methodical and analytical. So analyze the situation, be methodical on how you want to go about things, because there could be some kind of hidden motivations of those around you. In this picture, it's like a woman with children, that would signify like hidden motivations for why they would want a family, hidden motivations for why they want to go out, why they want to play, or some kind of major decision when it comes to the home or comes to the children. There's hidden motivations here. That's why you need to focus on having deeper connections within the home to uncover those hidden motivations and be analytical and methodical in how you take actions that will help you to undergo this spiritual evolution. Now, the weekly energies. So June 16th, moon will be in Pisces. This is a day where your intuition is going to be very heightened. You could also be a little emotional. Intuition is going to relay the messages that you have all that you need within you to create what it is that you are destined to create. You have that seed. And to let go of any feelings that make you feel unworthy. So whatever it is that you are destined to create, it's like you're getting rid of any kind of self-imposed limitations or beliefs that make you feel unworthy. This is like giving past memories, experiences, feelings that make you feel unworthy. You're getting rid of those because they're no longer in alignment with you. It's holding you back. You have what you need within you to create what is it you are destined to create, what is part of your soul purpose. You just got to get rid of that feeling of being unworthy because you're blocking yourself from creating it. You're blocking yourself from being in alignment with creating it. June 17th, Mars goes into the sign of Virgo until August 6th of 2025. This is where we're being methodical and analytical in our approaches to taking action. This is a time where creativity that results in fertility, as we have discovered with the collective tarot reading. It's like whatever it is that you've been working long and hard on, it's about to be fruitful for you. It's in the collective tarot reading, it was about you telling the story of your life and it bringing forth a lot of abundance. So again, something that you have within you that's going to be fruitful, that you're going to be creative with how you tell your story about like things that you have went through in your life and how that's going to bring you abundance in all levels. You know, abundance isn't just monetary, it's everything. Abundance and happiness and health and, you know, freedom, whatever. Also this day, Sun sextile Chiron and Venus parallels Mars. A higher perspective is needed right now to be seen on the situation that you are currently facing. Know that you're not alone and that it can be resolved. A new beginning is here, which being creative may prove to be a challenge when right now, when it comes to your relationships and your money, you're focusing on being stable. So you're trying not to take any kind of risks. There will be many opportunities to think of what actions you can take to transmute a wound into blessing. Again, like the previous day, it's about getting rid of feelings that make you feel unworthy. What is it you were to create? But then this day, it's like you may be going back and forth on being stable and practical and only focusing on logical solutions, which logic and practicality is like cancer to creativity. That creativity is what's going to take you somewhere. But it may prove to be a challenge because you're like, when it comes to the people that you have relationships with, when it comes to your finances, you're just trying to stay balanced, trying to stay within that logical realm. June 18th, Moon will be in Aries and Jupiter sextiles Neptune. Again, this is where I just spoke about this at the beginning. The nature of the world may make you feel like closing yourself off from humanity. However, this is a time period where your heart needs to be open. Focusing on deepening your connection with family will assist in spiritual evolution, and your intuition will tell you what kind of actions that you need to take. June 20th, a very significant day this week. Summer solstice, sun goes into sign of Cancer, and then the moon will also be in Taurus. So the summer solstice, something that needs to be talked about here. One, the summer solstice is the longest day of the year, and it's the beginning point astrologically of summer in the northern hemisphere. What needs to be said, this is a big holiday. It's considered Litha in the pagan world. So when I talk about what I'm going to talk about next, the warning that I'm going to provide, know that I'm not talking about the pagans that, you know, do little fertility rituals or, you know, are trying to utilize that masculine energy, that yang energy. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, like, no, if I'm ever talking about when it comes to spirituality and people who abuse it, I'm talking about the people who literally do like ritual sacrifice with human beings, where they red rum a child, a woman, a man, you know, in the pursuit of getting some kind of financial gain. We're talking human ritual sacrifices. Summer solstice is one of those days that the satanic, Masonic, whoever, you know, whatever kind of secret society cult that's out there does this kind of stuff, they take, you know, getting prosperity to a whole nother level. You gotta understand, these people are spiritually broke. They cannot manifest anything on their own. The only way they can do anything is by taking it from another person. This is a day, the summer solstice, when the weirdos come out. Okay, as well as the time period before then, because then the time period before then, so from now when this is being filmed to the summer solstice, they are gathering their victims. They are gathering their humans to be sacrificed for the group here's financial abundance. You need to be aware of your surroundings. And as always, you know, don't be going out in the woods and stuff with people that you don't know, or, you know, that you get a bad vibe. Always listen to your intuition. Trust what you feel. After the 20th, you need to most definitely cleanse your space, take a ritual bath, take a ritual shower, do a return to sender. The night before June 20th, you need to do a prayer to protect your dream state, because typically these bottom feeders, these parasites, they like to attack people in the dream state to try to steal their abundance. Because again, the summer solstice is about its renewal, its vitality, its prosperity, it's that masculine energy. they're going to try to take abundance from people in their dream state the night before. So be mindful. It can even be the night before or the night after. So the night before, the night after, they will most definitely try to attack you in the dream state if you have been dealing with this. So it's not going to resonate for everybody. Not everybody's being attacked by some kind of weird cult, okay? It's the ones in my collective who have already been attacked, who's been ruthlessly attacked for years. Just know this is a time period where the weirdos are coming out. Take the precautions. Don't do anything crazy. Don't take any risks. Don't be drinking alcohol. Don't be partying with anybody. And cleanse your energy and ensure that you do return to sender. Make these people pay. Make them pay. That the summer solstice is one of the satanic, Masonic weirdos. It's one of their big harvesting days where they do their little rituals and they try to sacrifice people. So I encourage you to definitely take heed to my warning and to listen to your intuition, any kind of guidance that you receive from the divine, because it looks like it's heavily in the reading so far this week. Take heed to that. Do what you need to do, because again, the weirdos are out. But also during this time period, Sun goes into the sign of Cancer until July 22nd of 2025. This is where we're going to be nurturing, protective, sensitive with the people that we are with. Okay, so I'm being protective of my collective here and telling you what you need to do. Don't you fret. You know, I'll post all those prayers that you need the day of, so that way you can reclaim your power. That's another thing. You need to reclaim your power as well. Before and after, if you're guided to do a cord cutting, you need to do so. Again, these are parasites. They need to leech onto you. So whoever you are intuitively picking up on, you need to do a cord cutting. A cord cutting ritual for that. And then you also need to reclaim your power, so that you do not give anyone consent to siphon, steal, or take, consciously, unconsciously, or subconsciously, your abundance, your blessings, your life force, your power. You need to state that, okay? Over a lit white candle, you need to state that. So just FYI on that. Moon being in the sign of Taurus, you're going to be guided intuitively to go at a slow and steady pace, and to focus on the practical and logical, to make any kind of gradual changes that you need to make. Then June 21st, Sun parallels Mercury, Mercury parallels Jupiter, and Mercury trines the North Node. You're entering a state of deep rest, repair, and acceptance as the new is being woven. So this new beginning that's here, you're going to have to rest. Again, like there's a whole energetic shift with that summer solstice energy. I forgot to mention that it's going to be a new chapter for cardinal signs. This is Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. That's really going to feel this energetic shift. It's going to be a new chapter for you. So with that being said, the day after, it's going to be a time where you need to rest as your new beginning is being woven for you. It's also a harmonious energy to focus on the home, talk about sensitive topics in order to purge any outdated and limited beliefs. These conversations will be what gets you to your purpose. It's going to align you with being further into your soul purpose. June 22nd, Mars sextiles Jupiter, Sun squares Saturn, and Moon and Gemini, and Mercury contra-parallel Pluto. You're going through some growth here, a significant period of growth. So focus on the home and having important conversations. Asking the right questions will work hand in hand to revolutionizing your life. You're attracting new and more positive experiences in your life. So you're attracting more and more positive experiences in your life right now because you're keeping your thoughts and the vibration pattern that you need to draw in these positive experiences. There will be many opportunities to analyze and be methodical of where in the home you need to take actions on, okay? Where you need to focus your attention on. Now, the chakra, or chakras, that coincides with this week's energies, I picked up on the throat chakra, which was last week, the heart chakra, which was also last week, but then also the third eye. So third eye, heart, throat. So essentially, these areas here is where it's mainly going to be impacted this week. So speaking your truth, throat chakra, honoring the self, protection. It's also the chakra of choice, therefore karma. Third eye is listening to your intuition. Again, you're going to get a lot of intuitive promptings this week. You're going to be told on where you need to focus your energy, especially when it comes to home, it matters. Especially when it comes to this spiritual evolution, and you're going through some kind of growth this week. So definitely pay attention to your intuition. Now, heart chakra is what I'm going to cover Your heart chakra is essentially your ability to receive your blessings, your abundances, opportunities in your life when your heart chakra is open. That's one of the reasons why the divine, the universe, is telling you to keep your heart chakra open despite what's going on in the world. Because if your heart chakra is closed, you are closing yourself off from your opportunities, your blessings, your abundance, but also for other people to show you love, unconditional love. If your heart chakra is open, you're going to attract people, beings that are just like you, that are vibrating at the frequency that you are on. If it's closed, you're going to be in low vibration, which means you're going to attract that violence, that mayhem, that stress, that deceit, okay? If your heart chakra is open, you're going to attract people who also are unconditionally loving, that are going to be in alignment with you. But also when it comes to summer being a harvest period for some of you, for many people it is the harvest period. Again, especially like the cardinal signs, it's going to be a pivotal moment of harvest for you. I've been picking that up a lot in the collective tarot readings. In order for it to still be a big moment for you, you have to keep it open. You have to practice self-love, and that in itself will be mirrored back to you. The heart chakra here has an electromagnetic field that emanates 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain. Again, your heart light. Your heart light is what attracts. The yang function of this chakra pertains to relationships with others and what we are giving to the world. The yin function is relationships to ourselves and what we are willing to receive from the world and feeling worthy of it. Again, that was at the very beginning of the week, feeling worthy of this love, feeling worthy of our creations. The heart chakra is the center of relationships, love, and compassion. It communicates physical and emotional needs through actual physical sensations, heart pains and pangs, and emotional tugs. So, like feeling empathy. Receives messages from our higher self and guides us through dreams, sending and receiving healing energy. It is the chakra that gets us to live our heart's desire. Now, problem if this chakra is at a misalignment or malfunctioning. You can have addictions like sugar, wine, love, like the inability to let go of a finished relationship, heart and circulatory disorders, asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, sleep disorders. If it's blocked, you can be prone to jealousy, bitterness, anger, and hatred, and an inability to forgive others and oneself. What you can do, you can wear, it's called a Camboba stone. It's green, like a dark green, that can help you with your heart and your root chakra. You can wear rose quartz, which is all about self-love. You can eat a heart-healthy Mediterranean diet. You can go for walks. Intermittent fasting also works very well with this because it's about discipline. You're keeping your body in a balanced state because the whole idea here is to keep yourself in alignment. But again, walking is definitely most beneficial. Listening to 432 hertz, but then also, I want to say it's 696 hertz frequencies. The playlist of all of the frequencies and spiritual wisdom will be attached at the end of this video for your convenience. It has like every kind of frequency on there. Listen to that. I have one that combines the Earth Star, which is your ability to ground yourself and connect to the Mother Earth. So definitely if you're trying to keep your heart chakra open and being receptive to goddesses guidance right now on how to be unconditionally loving and keep your vibrations high and have a higher level of consciousness, having that as well as your heart chakra worked on as well. I believe that's at the very end of the playlist. That's a good one for you to listen to. But again, also 432 hertz. There's also a playlist that I have on my YouTube, which has all of the popular songs out there that are within the 432 hertz frequency. So something interesting as well. It promotes calm and peace within you. All right, collective, hope I was able to provide you with clarity of what you already intuitively know. Thank you for watching. If you like my vibe in this video, please like and subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel. Please stay tuned for a brief little snippet of the Dark High Priestess and the Process of Liquidity Nancy.